Hello, party people. It's Monday, and Mondays suck. I'm Jack Bigadoo. I'm your hostess with the mostest. And obviously, this show never happened without the man, the myth, the legend, the Jason Mraz today of the neighborhood, aka Tim Man. What's up, man?
I can't even with your fucking introduction.
You are the Jason Mraz of the neighborhood today. So I didn't even say anything because not everybody can pull that hat. So the
Oh
only
shit!
reason why, the only way you pull in that hat is because you are the Jason Mraz of the neighborhood
Why,
today.
thank you, sir. I will take it. I will take it.
I'm expecting a little bit of singing going on, something
I was funny. I was just
otherwise,
singing before our timer started. Appreciate you. Thank you very much.
so that's all I'm expecting. So how was your week, bud?
My week was hard. I'll be honest. Let's be honest in the trust tree in the nest. I got real fucking depressed about halfway through. Which I mean, if you look at my Instagram, it probably shows that because I stopped posting for like 3 days in a row, and then I had an emotional breakdown. Now I'm better. Now I'm back.
The funny
Um,
thing, only white people can say that and keep smiling about it because
got to man.
I can't. Like me right now, I'm like freaking out, like, oh my god, I need to. Well, what? How can I do? Can I hug him? Is he gonna be okay? I just want to hug him.
I mean, hugs help for sure, but it's just like everyone who's like like touchable or grabbable in
Mhm.
my circle, they're just all slam doing stuff. And so I just felt like I didn't have anything. Like I didn't have
Mhm.
anyone to be like, "Hey man, I need you. Hey, I can we I didn't have any of that. So it's just like, "Okay, just got to deal
That
with
does
this.
help.
Got to
That does help.
Yeah, it
That
does. And when
truly
you
does help.
don't, you know,
I
I mean, Rebecca and Harrison are great helps, but it's
yeah,
it's it's only so much. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah.
And so, yeah, it's I'm good now. I got to hang out with the family today. Today was National Taco Day. I don't know if you know that.
I didn't
Today
know
was
that.
national Today was National Taco Day, so we went and took Harrison to school, dropped him off, came home and napped for 3 hours. That was fucking
That's
great.
always the best way.
Got up, got ready,
Yeah.
went and picked him up, went and got tacos, and went to the mall and hung out. Yeah, and then came back here and hung out, and now here I am. It was a fucking great day. That's what I said. Yeah,
Absolutely. If
I didn't
you're
even
here and you're
notice.
watching, make sure you get on all your social media because today is going to be a fabulous show.
Mm,
We got Jim Beam in the house.
yeah, Jim Beam's in
For
the
all of you guys,
house.
yeah. We got the extraordinaire
Mm,
brand
mm-hmm,
ambassador of Jim Beam. You
mm-hmm.
know Jim Beam, but most people don't know Jim Beam like they know this brand ambassador.
It's
Like
true. It's
I
it's
thought for
arguable
a
true.
second she was the family of Beam. So it took me a minute to actually know. Oh, you
Oh,
know?
right,
Yeah,
right.
I really
Mm-hmm.
just thought. I'm like, her daddy owned this place.
So when I first met her in passing when I was still at Westport, and she would come in and she would like hang out, and I'd be like, "Who is that?" I'd be like, "Somebody from Beam."
Yeah,
And I'd always get so giddy. I get giddy. I'll be honest. I get giddy for like 2.5 seconds anytime that somebody's in this industry that I bump into. And I'm like, okay, cool. They're just people just like us. But and then I
if
found out I was
you
like, oh, she's not just an ambassador. I don't want to make it sound like
no
play
no
it
no no,
down.
she's
But
good people.
I legitimately thought she was like blood, like family blood.
Correct, correct.
I didn't real
But
because
that's
she
because
bleeds.
she
Let's
does
stop.
make it
Let's
about. She
She
does make
bleeds
it
it,
about.
right?
Yeah, she does.
That's
Her everyday life is lowly Beam, right? It's like she makes it. She is a lifestyle, right? It's not a job, really. It's a lifestyle.
great
So
example of this.
yeah,
We were talking about a brand before the show started, and you were like, "Hey, when's the last time you had that?" And she's like, today."
today,
And
right,
it
right.
was a Beam brand, like expecting like, "Oh, it's been a minute." No, I had
No.
it today.
All right,
Like, yeah,
before we bring her on, ladies and gentlemen, this show is gonna be on YouTube, Facebook, on IG in a little bit. But before we bring her on, aka the Bourbon Bella, that's what I call her. Uh, Make sure you actually go in and share this. If you're on Facebook, share this with your people. I know Facebook was down today, but Facebook is back on.
We back. We back, baby.
Make sure you share this with your people.
Damn.
So we can actually talk, and share this in all your group so people can follow the page, follow the Facebook page on us. Make sure you give us a thumbs up. Make sure you give us a like so we can actually keep growing as we are.
Like, share,
Thank you all
subscribe.
for joining us on YouTube. We appreciate you. But without further ado, we'll bring on the one, the only, and I even pulled out
The badass Bella.
I'm pulling out the big guns
I'm
just for her.
I'm drinking some big guns
Just
too.
for her. The one,
Even though these
the
guns aren't that
only,
big. Those guns are way bigger.
badass Bella of Bourbon Bella herself. What's happening?
Hi, friends. How are you?
Let's bring her center.
There we go.
Yes.
Oh, hi.
How's it going?
Oh, hello.
This is your show.
Okay.
Fancy meeting you here.
We are just guests now. This is your show.
Nobody wants that. Y'all are too kind. Thanks for having me, though.
Absolutely.
Thanks for being here.
Well, people that
Thanks
don't
for,
know you, who are you?
Who am I? Well,
who are you?
Is this about to be a CSI episode? Oh, God.
Who are you? Wait, Jack said I had to sing. Hold on.
Okay, Jason Mraz.
All right, Jason. Yeah, we need to have the guitar come out. A little mandolin here in a little bit. Most definitely. Perfect.
Or maybe I should be smart and just bring you in on IG, so we can actually everybody can.
I like that. Everybody. I like that idea.
Yes,
I think that's a good idea.
This
Are
is
you
Monday
only
Sucks.
speaking in
This
song
is
titles
Monday
today?
Sucks. Definitely. if you're here, you are. We are Monday Sucks. IG came back. Thank Jesus. Facebook is on. Thank Jesus. And
Hey, look,
we got.
He's live. Look at that. There he is. Oh wait, come back. Where'd it go?
People already started with violence. So calm down, guys. We're gonna.
Y'all need to relax. Y'all need to relax.
Relax.
Go do it.
All right. Let's see. I'm bringing you in. Let's see what's happening. Hello. It's Monday. Monday suck. And we got the one, the only, the legendary Bourbon Bell over here. How's it going?
Hey,
Oh, hello.
Oh, hello.
Hold on.
I'm trying to turn sounds down.
Yeah,
this
one
up.
has to be muted. So your computer usually is the best one to mute.
Heard.
Mute your computer and then listen on IG. That's what we got.
Listen on IG? The computer's faster.
Mute your computer, listen on IG.
You can do whatever you want. He always tells me that. This is my computer. IG's muted.
You see, but again, that's the reason why I tell you to do that, because now you're echoing.
That ain't me.
It's me. Hold, please.
Hello.
Your call is important
to us. You guys
us.
who don't know her, she's Beth.
We're trying to reach you about your car's extended warranty.
We are. Beth, I wasn't sure if you knew this, but we've been trying to reach you about your extended warranty.
I'm not giving you any money. Good try, though.
You know, that's what I need to start doing. Like, I need to start calling people when they get on the show. I say, "Hi, thanks for coming. We've been trying to reach you about your extended warranty." That would be the best way to start every show. But
Did you see the one where it was the message in the bottle and it washed up on the beach and they opened it and it was like, it said he was like, "We're trying to reach." I was like, "Yes, this is the best." Okay, cool.
So if
enough.
Or you on Facebook or you on YouTube, we are everywhere. It's Monday Sucks, and we're here to talk about whiskey. Today we have Beth, the woman, right? The woman.
The one.
Yeah. Hey, you know, give you your moment, just like I said, and I just said, welcome to the show. It's Monday Sucks. We are happy to have you here. We appreciate you taking your evening to come hang out with us and all the other whiskey lovers that are around here, around the hood here. If you are here and you don't know who this person is, make sure you give her a follow. Make sure you go and check her out. Stalk her Instagram. You're going to learn a lot about Beam. But for now, we got all the questions. We're going to hunt her down. We're going to get all the answers we need. For all the people that don't know you, Beth, introduce yourself to the people.
Sure. Hi. So my name is Beth Burrows. I'm the American Whiskey Ambassador for Beam Suntory here in the lovely state of right now, but definitely would be going from Claremont if we were open to the world right now, which will be very soon. We'll talk about that here in a little bit. But my job is essentially to travel and spread the good word, and I get to do that through talking to amazing folks like y'all, throwing events, doing education, tasting, basically whatever I can do to get wonderful James Beam Distilling Company liquid into people's hands and go down whiskey.
Absolutely. So you are representing Beam Suntory, and for people that don't know Beam Suntory, tell them some brands that are in their house right now that they may not know, because here we are here to educate, right? Educate the people.
For sure.
So there is people be like, I think the first argument I've ever had with someone is somebody say, "Oh, you like Jim Beam?" And I'm like, "No, I don't like Jim Beam. I like Booker's. I don't like." And the person started laughing because as a newbie in bourbon, I thought I liked Booker's, but I didn't know I liked Jim Beam. So what are the Jim Beam brand that are sitting right now in people's shelf or home or everywhere that they don't know that is actually Beam that is produced? Give us some few name or common name that these people may not know.
For sure. So when it comes to like my purview, I cover all the American whiskey in the Beam Suntory portfolio except for Maker's Mark. They are our sister distillery. We absolutely love them, but they've got some fantastic folks who get to talk about that family and everything that happens over in Loretto. But for me, I cover things like Little Book, Old Granddad, Old Crow. Yeah, Old Crow. We got that sitting on the shelf. We've got Jim Beam Black, of course. Anything that has Jim Beam on the label is covered by me and my cohorts across the country. There's 4 of us that cover the U.S. Old Granddad, Old Overholt. The list goes on.
Oh, Old Overholt.
Yeah.
You're talking about this?
I am.
This is also you guys?
It is.
You see?
Let me see if I can.
Jesus knows I did not know this. And I'm actually call myself a whiskey expert.
Wait, seriously? You didn't know that? You really didn't know that?
I'm just going to tell y'all, I was sent this bottle as a gift. And I thought, oh, thank God they sent me this bottle. That's it. I didn't even know it's Beam.
Yeah.
I didn't do any research because they're like, it's an old brand and now it's revived or something like that. And the person's like, you should try it. It's still sitting here. It's 114 proof.
So that's a special bottle. That was initially only released in Ohio, Pennsylvania.
And my buddy that sent me that is an Ohio resident. So yes.
There you go.
It was the best. It was the best $14 he ever spent on me. So I was very
speaking
excited
of speaking of 11 years, you got any more of those hanging around?
This is the one. I think we've burnt through some, but I might be able to pour some in a 2-ounce container.
That's what I get. That's what I get for waiting. That's what I get for waiting for 2 years.
It's super special liquid. It really, really is. And again, only released in Ohio, PA. So, but of course, the traditional Overholt at 86 or the bonded at 100, also amazing liquid.
So correct me if I'm wrong, but Old Overholt 114 is getting the national release.
It should be, yes.
Okay.
And there's a whole lot coming on that brand, which we haven't really released out there. It's still in the working of, but I would just keep an eye out for what cool things are going to be coming in the Overholt line.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So that
maybe another extra aged product.
I don't know. Well, there's a lot of stuff that's happening. It's all behind the scenes. I can't.
I could have got a maybe.
I mean, everything is possible. Right?
So are you just speaking in are you just speaking in what I call it? We're not here to actually this is not the secret segment of the show yet. So I bet if you get a little closer, don't mute your mic on IG it's because you're mute on here. They're like, oh, I can hear you on Facebook, so I think you mute. Okay, perfect. Now you're good. You mute yourself so somebody couldn't hear you when they're on Facebook. So Thanks for actually doing that. Appreciate you coming on. Um, One thing you guys need to understand is that brand ambassadors, for me, makes the brand. Most people, we talked the last time about how brand would throw things out there, but really the person that keep the gatekeeper between the brand itself as a name and you, the consumer, is the brand ambassador. And for me, that's very important. Knowing the brand ambassador kind of relate the message in a better way, better sugar coated, and sometimes bring you into the brand for you to try a portfolio of something that you not may be familiar with or may know. Beth, tell us what's your day to day look like as a Jim Beam brand ambassador. What do you do really?
It changes every day. I mean, today I was talking to you all earlier. It was about going and tasting Halloween candy alongside 8 of my whiskeys to see which one goes the best, so we can start talking about pairings and looking into fun stuff that we can do, as October comes to a close at the end of the month, where we are going to be throwing our Halloween parties. So we were working on that today. Last week it was being in Virginia and Washington, D.C., doing a launch for Basil Hayden Toast, doing a launch for a Baker single barrel. We also got to do a really cool on location Knob Creek rye selection for a single barrel at Mount Vernon. So the Mount Vernon Distillery, George Washington's old distillery. So that was a really cool space to learn a whole lot of history. And yeah, there's that Knob Creek rye. It's great juice.
It is amazing juice.
So good, you want to swallow it twice.
It's okay. It's gonna be okay, I promise.
Bring it back.
This Baker's 13 was that I'm drinking right now was one of the bottle I kept till the day I actually met you. The first time we actually met after that, I actually came and opened this Baker's 13 when you told me a lot about Baker's and the history and what I needed to know. I really needed to dig into this juice and really enjoy it. And I would tell you, in the line of the battle of the 13s, this one holds its own. So,
oh yeah, it's delicious.
It's definitely delicious. Definitely, absolutely delicious. But tell us about what's new. What is new with Jim Beam? What is it that as new people walking into new Jim Beam, what will be the thing we should look for? Because everybody asks the same question when they reach out to us. I'm new in the bourbon. I want to try something. What should I try? So what's new? What is it that a new bourbon lover should walk in and get you and start trying? Because we were talking originally about what was the first Jim Beam we ever had.
Yeah.
So,
I was telling you all, I think that everybody's on a whiskey journey. We just kind of, sometimes we don't know exactly where we are in that whiskey journey. Some people don't know that they've officially started, and, everybody's in a different spot. So as we go through it, if you're starting on that whiskey journey, Basil Hayden is always a great place to start. It's that wonderful 80 proof. It's a high rye bourbon whiskey. So it's going to have a little bit more of that spice, but it's super balanced. And with the 80 proof, it's not overbearing or egregious on your palate. And leading into that, talking about new things, Basil Hayden Toast just launched. So, that's a pretty special liquid that's super delicate, as we were talking about before. I mean, it is soft. It is pretty. It has a whole lot of nuances to it. Do you have some back there?
No, the toasted, no. That toasted escaped me a couple times. No, somebody was talking about one that I'm about to pull up.
Hey.
Yeah.
Got you. And I did see somebody in the comments talk about Basil Hayden Toast going for $90 in their market. No. Tell them that they are incredibly wrong for doing that. It is a permanent line extension. It should not be priced above like the actual MSRP, which should be somewhere in the 40s. Like, don't allow people to gouge on that. It shouldn't be gouged. Whiskey was meant to be drunk and it's meant to be shared, and we should allow for people to be able to do that without gouging those prices. So there are plenty of people who are putting it on the shelf for the right price. Find those people, make sure that you buy from those people, because I think that it's important that we show them that we're not going to do that.
Absolutely. The what would you start with on intermediate? Let's say somebody been drinking bourbon for a while. They're like, well, I never drink Jim Beam before. Where should they start?
I mean, I think we go through the journey, right? And figure out exactly what their palate enjoys, because we run the gambit. I don't know of any other distillery that gets to say, oh, you can try this, or you can try this, or this, or this, right? Which is what we can have the opportunity to do. Someone like you.
Yeah,
Mr. I'm
I
a
always say
Booker's fan.
the truth is barrel proof. So what should I go for?
I would say you like rye too, right? So looking at things. Oh, I thought you were. Oh, is it just the Knob Creek rye that you were talking about?
You see, aha! You heard it.
Okay, I'm a good listener. So
I don't like a lot of rye. I'm very picky about my rye, but Knob Creek rye definitely was good.
It's stellar stuff. I think if you were talking about just trying to do, barrel proof is your jam, it's your style. I would look into the single barrel selections in the Knob Creek portfolio. So whether that be the rye or the bourbon, depending on, what you enjoy. The rye is going to be 115 proof if it's a single barrel selection, whether that be the general population one, right? The Gen Pop, which is the one that goes out into all the liquor stores, or the ones that people can buy personally, like we were talking about before, where they actually select their barrel from, a sampling of different barrels, and they pick for their palate. Because as we know, single barrels are all uniquely different. And so they're able to, pick for the palate that they want and how they want it to be used. And if you trust someone's palate, which a lot of people do find liquor stores that they definitely trust their palate, you can get some really unique and special liquids out of that at 115, or if you're talking bourbon, 120 proof.
Absolutely. So tell us about bakers, because I probably am in the line of and I'll probably say, if you in a comment today, tell us what's your go-to Beam product, right? So my go-to Beam product, believe it or not, obviously, is Booker's. Right?
Okay.
I live and die by Booker's. I've been collecting it for years. It's probably what make me a Beam avid, because I truly will spend my fortune on Booker's. All the way back to 2013 to this year, I have them all, including the little books, because I truly love it. I respect the 3 rules of whiskey that I believe has been selected by somebody who I respect. Is barrel proof, and every year they batch it to actually bring a story behind it. So that's why. So because I'm a nerd first, I'm gonna start with, tell me if you ever seen the Booker's process, how they been picked, how it's been batched. Have you
seen the
it?
round table, or like the selection
how
committee?
They come up with each batch?
Okay, so there's a selection committee. It's the Booker's round table for each one of the batches. It's led by Fred and Freddie. They have the end all be all, which is why we only had 3 releases last year. They said, one of them was not up to what they were hoping for it to be for that batch. And so they decided not to release it. And I think that's a true testament to, 2 of the people who are absolutely closest to Booker before he passed, and really want to carry on that legacy and really keep. Yeah, there you go. Which one's your favorite
of this year? Or in general?
All time from your 2013 on.
Favorite. If somebody had to slap me in the face and tell me to drink a Booker, number 1 will be Booker's 25.
Well, I mean, of course.
I know it's expensive and it's crazy, but Center Cut is number 2.
Okay.
Center Cut is number 2. Number 3 is Bugle. And number 4 will be, the craziest thing is Granny Batch.
Yeah.
Granny Batch was the first Booker, right? Granny Batch was the first Booker that I actually had and I wrote the taste note on the paper, and I pulled it up, and I looked at the little paper, and I'm like, I'm sure I did not copy this shit. And it literally is the same hazelnut, that very creamy, heavy, peanutty, like really. I mean, it was everything. It was like pecan hazelnut peanut cookie. That's literally what it was. Granny
Okay.
Bar. So that was my first time when my palate was at what I call the expert level. I literally had the granny bag, did not read the notes, had a taste, and wrote all the note, and it matches exactly what was there. So yeah.
All right. Can respect
Yeah.
all of that.
So Morgan just joined. She's also as much of a Booker's friend as I am. She loves Booker. She wish I can send her some Bookers, but I've been holding on to it my whole life. She's not gonna get any of my Bookers. But Morgan, meet the one and only Beth, and Beth is Jimmy.
Beth Burrows.
Yeah, Beth. Beth. So I like to say that for when we talk about the lines of beams that are coming out, me like in Barrel Proof, obviously Booker's is mine, but Baker's was actually my introduction to beam.
Okay.
Funny thing is, I've always been scared of the regular release. I've always been the bar because you've always been ordered by college students, and I never actually trusted that Jim Beam Black or anything till, believe it or not, you introduced me to Jim Beam Black. I've been in bourbon 8-9 years, and you were the first person that said, "Hey, we're gonna have black." When we did the Afrobeat Sunday Fun Day, you said we're gonna have Jim Beam Black, and I had a sip of it. I'm like, I've been missing out my whole life. So sometimes the brand ambassador themselves want to introduce you to good stuff.
It's always something that needs to be looked back upon. I think, everyone has had an experience with one alcohol or another when they were a little bit, too young to be sipping and appreciating the whiskey that they were appreciating. And, I think a lot of times it hit maybe with that label, and not the black necessarily, but the white label. Some people have amazing experiences with white label, and that's fantastic. But I think that, a lot of times, especially a name that's recognizable, something where people associate, it's the number one selling bourbon in the world, Jim Beam White is. So, it's known by a lot of people. So it's not necessarily the cool thing to go after. And because Jim Beam Black has Jim Beam on the label as well, I think sometimes it gets overlooked by folks. And so I always put it in my blind tastings. I always ask people to go back and revisit with me. It's what I sip. It's what Fred sips. It's what Freddie sips. It's what people that work at the distillery line sip. It is a, family and friend favorite. And I think that it deserves its due for people to go back and give it a chance. 86 proof, it holds up in its cocktails and things like that. It holds up in a glass neat or on the rocks and sips easily enough that you're ready for that next sip pretty quick.
So I have a question for you. The one thing that I get from Beam is always like there's this sense of reminiscence, right, and family.
Oh yeah.
In a sense of every batch, right, of Bookers always have a story about grandma, about No's wife, about going helping at the distillery, Booker itself, or that. Describe a little bit what the legacy or what the Jim Beam family looks like, because you either know one thing or the other thing, but you are an insider. So tell us a little bit what it's like, because is it a big family? Is it more like Booker's people are on the side, Baker's people on the side, Knopker people on the side, Basil Hayden people in the corner, and how does it work? Because
why gotta put Basil in the corner
here when you say Beam.
Yeah, they do, and so it's a family lineage. It's 226 years of family. It started with Jacob Beam in 1795. Like it goes way back. they were farmers first, distillers second, and they have passed father to son, all the way through until you hit T. Jeremiah, who is Jim Beam's son. He didn't have any kids. So you see a switch over of last name and master distiller from Beam to No. And that's because he passed it to his sister's son. So his sister's name was Mary. Mary married. It's so hard to say that. Mary married Frederick Booker No the First, who was a banker and had nothing to do with whiskey, but she produced her son Booker, who is Frederick Booker No the Second, who we know and love as, Booker No, who is our creator of the small batch collection, the creator of the small batch category. And that's why you see that switch over of last name. Now, there's a Beam behind just about every whiskey. There's a Beam in just about every distillery somewhere along the way because the family is huge, and this followed a very specific family lineage. But the Beam family definitely, if they weren't going in and helping in other distilleries or establishing themselves in other distilleries, they were helping within the distillery in Claremont, or when we opened up the Boston facility right down the road from the Claremont facility. Beams are involved all the way through, which is how you talk Baker Beam, who happened to be like the right-hand man of Booker when Booker was running the distillery in Boston, Kentucky, not Boston, Mass, y'all, just in case anybody was a little confused. Boston, Kentucky, it's now the Booker No plant.
Is that why they had the Boston batch of Bookers?
Yep, that would be for the Boston distillery.
Okay, all right.
Which is where Booker really started to spread his wings and create and craft on a whole different level, looking at what would affect if he did small batches, what would affect. I mean, he used to hang hams around the distillery, see what it did to the fermentation process, also see what it did to the hams. He was just constantly tinkering and trying to find different nuances, fun, pushing the envelope, if you will, which is what we see with Freddie. And I think that that's super exciting. Who's now, going to be our next master distiller eventually down the road, 8th generation family member, current master distiller, Fred No, son of Booker No, really getting us through the bourbon renaissance, resurgence, whatever it is you want to call it, growing the families that his father put out in the world as a small batch collection, really just riding these waves. And also, his legacy falls in so many different places. And one of the legacies that I don't think people understand or give credit enough for is Jim Beam Red Stag, y'all. That was the first flavored whiskey. We wouldn't have all of the flavored whiskey category.
The first?
That was on a major scale. Think about it. I don't know if it was the first ever, but it's to be launched on a major scale the way that it was. Think about it. And I know it's involved with Kid Rock and that whole wave, but it was the early 2000s.
And that was the reason. That was one of the reasons why I never got close to it.
And that's understandable.
That was not meant for me.
Whiskey is meant for everyone. Sometimes it's marketed incorrectly. That being said, when it comes to that category, if that hadn't laid down, if those standards hadn't been met at the very beginning with a black cherry flavor profile in whiskey, we may not have that category. Now, is that his legacy? Absolutely not. Is it a small part of he's innovating, doing something different, changing to the market and adapting to what people want and need? 100%.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Sure.
Absolutely. It seemed like when you're drinking, if you're going to drink the Beam family, there is a Jim Beam product for everyone.
For everyone.
Literally everyone.
Every occasion. Every person, when you asked earlier what I said, it depends on really how I feel and who's paying.
Did you say who's paying?
Yeah,
who's paid?
100%. We were talking earlier. I don't guess you were on that text thread. I sipped some very, very old Overholt last week, sitting at Jack Rose Bar. And being able to understand and drink that liquid, I was able to put 1968 old Granddad into a paper plane. Most delicious paper plane ever. Yeah, don't hate me. It's fine.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I put it in a paper plane. I drank it neat first and then I put it in a paper plane. And it was delicious.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, it's
so
there is something
all
for
of you
everyone.
guys who don't know, I'm drinking a lot of water because Jim Beam is not something to play with, especially if you're drinking any of their. Is ever the first bourbon that when I drink it, I say, okay, there's no playing around here, because I had Booker's, I had Baker's, right? And again, that's when Baker's was still in the what I call the wine bottle,
Yeah,
right? Because Baker's is now in the nice
It's in this little guy.
sophisticated,
Yeah. It was wax
beautiful,
dipped. I still
beautiful
like the old.
bottle.
I
Yeah,
still like. I
beautiful,
mean, this new bottle.
sophisticated
The
bottle.
new bottle's great. I still miss the old bottle though.
The
we all
wine
will.
bottle. It was one of the first bottle that people told me, if you're looking for anything under $30, make sure you go find some Baker's 7. And I said, oh, okay. So
It was a well-kept secret for quite some time.
I'll tell you the one that's flying under the radar now that I have to convince people on is the Jim Beam single barrel.
Delish.
Beam
Yeah.
single barrel.
Oh, see, 108 proof, non-chill filtered, just money in a glass. It's like 23 to $27 depending on your market. It's incredible. It you could blind anybody on, they would not know it was Jim Beam.
Nobody would ever guess.
Because it carries, I wanted to go back to what you were saying earlier about the whole name. You know, people pass it on the shelf because it says Jim Beam. And like that's fine, but everything really does have its place. Give it a chance. You'll hear me say it. You guys know I'm a fucking sucker for single barrels, but I mean this one is, especially for the money, it's outrageously good. Oh
Shoot! Big gun. European export 2020 Granny Batch European version.
Oh wow.
So 2020 first edition European export.
Didn't know we were flexing so hard today. All
Damn.
right.
Hey, when it comes to Booker's, allow me to flex. I'll be the first person to beg someone. The only whiskey I'll ever beg someone for is Booker's. Anything else, I would say, fuck you, I don't care. But I'll beg someone for Booker's. And this version is I talked to my cousin in the UK, and she was like, hey, I found this thing. It's an American whiskey. Do you want it? And I said, what is it? She's like, Booker's. That's what is written on it. And I said, sure.
That's what's written on it.
So.
Fantastic. I mean, yeah, I've only got like my pet bottles. Where are they at? I can't reach behind me. But yeah, I don't know how to flex as hard as you all are flexing right now.
I'm just drinking 15 year. I'm
You
just
are
drinking
the
15 year.
You are the brand ambassador.
That's what I'm sipping on.
I mean, you got to drink some vintage Beam, so I think that's a pretty good flex.
Yeah, that is a nice flex.
I've been fortunate enough to sip some really cool stuff. Yes.
So let's talk about what people complain about, because you can't talk about the good and I talk about the bad as well.
Absolutely.
Right?
Okay.
Everybody cry about something and complain about something because we all know that brands are not perfect. They try their best, but there's always a little bit of downfall. So before even we started the show, somebody chose violence on YouTube already.
Someone did.
Somebody did choose violence. And I'm gonna get to that first.
All right, what's up?
First is the person said the biggest disappointment this year is try to sign up for the Beam Barrel and Box subscription this year, and their web from wouldn't allow free delivery to my Kentucky address. So apparently, those your own people, and
I dealt with that too.
Get your subscription bottle. Tell us about the subscription bottle if you know about it. I'm assuming people hold you accountable for that, even though you may not know about it. And tell us how it worked, if people can sign up, and somebody's already disappointed about it. So what's the deal with this subscription bottle?
There was a limited number. It was run through a separate entity. I had absolutely nothing to do with it. I do get held responsible for a lot of things.
Do not blame her for this.
I know that some states were not eligible because of the shipping and the laws. Like, really, honestly, what we're doing right now is we are testing the waters on direct to consumer. Like, this is a brand new situation that liquor companies and the people who have been lobbying in, all of the spaces of government to try to allow this to happen, small steps is where we're at right now. So I'm sorry that you're disappointed. I'm disappointed that you couldn't get it as well. But as things move forward, and hopefully this becomes, more and more, if people keep generating interest, people are still really excited about it, we'll start finding ways to be able to produce on a larger scale, hopefully, or at least do multiple releases. Now, I don't have any control over this, so I'm not saying that it's going to happen. I'm hoping that it does. But, as we move through this, there's going to be some pain points until we figure out exactly what this direct to consumer looks like, as we look at, how we're going to be able to ship to places. We want to make sure that we keep people safe. That's the number one biggest thing. Making sure that there's everything that's age gated. The last thing we would want is for, something to go awry in that space. But pain points until we get it right. Just give us grace. We're dealing with.
That's really it. The other one is we have also in the hood right here in the Monday Sucks, we do have store owners that obviously are also part of our followers. And as a store owner says, one of the biggest problem usually with most brand is allocation and, getting your hand on stuff. I don't know what in Jim Beam is really allocation, because I don't see. I mean, I'm assuming Booker's and Little Book are considered allocated product, and maybe high end Booker's, which is a rye, the 20 and the 30 year. How does that work? Because one of the store owner here in New York say not happy about the allocation in New York, which I know this is a distributor thing, but how does that work? What's the quantity of these things, and do you know anything that you can say about this?
I mean, quantity depends on barrels, right? The number of barrels that we're going to utilize in each one of the dumps for each one of these products. So that's limited in and of itself. Then it comes to the task of, right now, do we even have glass? Like, we are struggling to get like minor components to put things together. If we can get glass, great. Can we get closures? Are we able to even get those types of things? Because y'all, we're still living in a COVID world. We're still living in a world where we are pivoting and adjusting on the daily. And I bless the people who have to deal with it. Like, literally bless them, because they are on the phone and on the computer day in and day out, fighting for the things that they need in order for us to produce and get this on the shelves to y'all. Hopefully, we're going to catch up eventually. We're going to get there. Now, when it comes to the allocated liquid, unfortunately, there's just so much of it, right? And we can't produce more off the get. The great thing and the worst thing about whiskey is it takes time. Time is what makes it wonderful, but time is also what makes it valuable in its own space. And we have to be able to. Y'all are just getting bit today.
I'm choking on the
every
comment.
Monday.
I'm choking on the
It's
comment.
normal. Every Monday I walk to my office and walk back home. It's about 5 kilometers. So for that reason, my allergies are like on flare every time I'm back Monday. So I have to fight it when seasonal allergies are here. But
and you were in Kentucky, so it's bad. Allergies are worse here.
One of the things my friend Mike Bridges on Facebook, guys, is watching us say the same thing. He said the problem
that made me choke.
Is retailers always are hurting, right? They love to distribute your product, but they used to be the number one retailer here in Nebraska, where I'm in my state. Mike Bridges is a store owner, and it's like we've eliminated the portfolio as much as possible, because you're going through the pain. Some of these retailers go through the pain because someone like me, and I know a bunch of people are in what I call the Booker's religion. When he comes out, we're the first people to run and go get it. When Little Book came out, I can tell you, I literally never had to put in any effort to find any Booker's product, because there's always enough. But each year, it seemed like it get more painful and painful to be able to find one. And literally, if I wasn't in Kentucky when we met, I wouldn't have actually tasted the Little Book. I wouldn't have tasted the Little Book, because it's like, oh, it's great, Now where can I find it? So I know you don't take care of retail, but yeah, I feel like retailers need more advocate to be able to really share that great juice that you guys are putting out there and really elevate the name of the beans when we actually are enjoying it in the whiskey community, especially or I like to call on the semi-professional level, right? The beginner level is fine, but the semi-professional level where people that are like in the Bookers, the Bakers, the Knot Creeks of the world.
Mm-hmm.
So those are the people that really are, avid people that are walking in and going, "Hey, I'm looking for this." They're willing to spend above that $50 range. Those are really the people that love, the brand, the Beam brand, and will buy anything that come out. But it seems like those are always the people that quote unquote get screwed in the deal. So
I mean, I we're just trying to make everybody in the world happy. Really easy task, right? Like we're not ever going to cut the retailer out completely. Retailers mean the world to us. Those are the people who get them into the folks' hands and a faster and, quicker pace than we could possibly do glass by glass from an on-premise account. Um, it just I wish I had better answers for how to get it into everybody's hands. Like if I could, I would give it to everyone in the world. I would love to. Unfortunately, it's just the capacity of what we can do in the world that we live in. So I'm sorry. Like I feel real bad that he's eliminated the James B. Beam portfolio. That sucks. And that hurts my heart that it had to happen that way. But here we are doing what we can do. And I would love to try to help advocate for you if I can figure out who I need to advocate to. I am a very small voice, so that means not very much, but I don't want to lose people. I don't want us to, gain enemies because of allocations or anything like that. But we're fighting hard for everybody in every place in every state. People want it, which is great. That's a great problem to have. The problem just lies within that is there's not enough to go around. So we continuously lay more down. We continuously build warehouses. Y'all, we're building 59,000 barrel warehouses all the time across 3 properties. We're aging across 3 properties. We're dumping when we can dump. But again, age is really important. So unfortunately,
absolutely.
it's a blessing and a curse.
So, 2 more questions before we let you actually go enjoy the rest of your Monday. uh, what do you call it? First is, when are you guys opening? That's the one. People are visiting Kentucky. People are trying to come and get a tour and get things in. Um, when are you guys opening? What's the plan there?
So it's still, in construction. We're hoping by the end of October, it will be open to the public for folks to be able to come and join us. I would say, most likely before the end of the year. It's hard with construction to give an exact date. We're at the mercy of the process, but I'm very excited that we're going to be able to bring folks back into a new restaurant, a new bar, a brand new Fred Bino craft distillery that's going to showcase every piece of the process and allow for Freddie to have a space to really, grow and what he's doing and the innovations that he's pushing through into the market and working on behind the scenes. You're going to have a whole new visitor's experience. So if you've been to the distillery before, you know that it's beautiful and wonderful and a space to be in. And it's just going to be an enhanced, really, really enhanced experience. So we're excited to invite people back to Claremont. And as soon as I have a date, I will shoot you the official. But right now we are hoping by the end of October, probably November.
I would love to come in. Monday Sucks would love to be there when you guys are opening, so we can actually do the media and tell the folks exactly what they should expect when they actually walk into there. Because I'll tell you guys right now, and for people that actually never been to a distillery, if you love the juice, you have not loved the juice till you walk in and see exactly how the juice is made. That that experience, I will tell you right now, I'm a whiskey lover,
Mm-hmm.
but truly, I start loving more a certain whiskey um, better by knowing exactly how it's made. So that's my thing. last but not least, give us 3 things that are new that folks don't know that are coming out of Jim Beam before the end of the year that we need to watch out for, be on the lookout for, or try to find
I mean,
for the hunters.
You should be seeing the next release of Booker's over the next little bit. Little Book Chapter 5 has hit shelves. So if you're able to get your hands on that, it's out there in the world. Basil Hayden Toast is out there in the world.
In the wild. He's out there in the wild.
Jim Beam Cream was released. So yes, there will be a cream coming from Jim Beam to...
Like a bourbon cream?
Yeah, bourbon cream. So get your coffee ice cubes ready so that you can pour it over and have a nice little...
Beth, I'm gonna need a sample of that. I need to try that.
Delicious stuff. And then, we do have our ready to drinks, the actual cans of Beam and soda and Beam and ginger that are out there in the world. So if you're a fan of taking a can with you and just popping a top, those are pretty darn delicious.
The Beam and ginger one is pretty spectacular.
Beam and ginger, like, I'm not gonna lie, I sip all across the spectrum, and people can judge me as much as they want to judge me. The Beam and ginger cans, fantastic. Jim Beam orange and ginger, that was what I was sipping all summer. It was delicious. I have no shame about it. It's easy.
And you shouldn't.
Porch sipping deliciousness. And then you follow it up with some Bakers or some barrel strength, something or another, a little bit of Little Book here and there. Always going to do my old granddad and my old Overholt. Those always live really close to my heart because I'm a bartender at heart. I always will be. So
is there any plan? Is there any plan to ever open the Urban Stillhouse again, or is that done?
Urban Stillhouse, I do believe, has seen its last day, at least in the capacity that it was in. So
what was their? Do you know what their decision was to stop doing that?
I mean, when COVID hit, it was just the tourism downtown Louisville took a really big hit. And then as we were crafting out the Fred Bino Craft Distillery, we were able to utilize some of the pieces that were there when it wasn't in operation any longer. So, being able to bring that all together in one space is really what we're focusing on. As we launch this distillery, y'all, we did 5 years of phase construction in a year and a half. Like, wow. It is, this was supposed to be a phase situation, and we went full throttle because we wanted to be able to give people this experience as we're hopefully coming out of the end of what we've been going
you were
through
able to do that though too. You were able to do that though too because the distillery is essentially completely shut down to the public. So that definitely helped carry on, a 5.5-year project in, a year and a half time that we're dealing with right now. So that's huge though. I had no idea it was that long of a project.
Yeah, it was supposed to be a phased one.
Wow.
There's one part of this show, if you come as a guest, that is actually even more important than the whole interview.
Okay.
And it's very important to us to actually go through this. When you are on Monday Suck, your job, aka your responsibility, nay, your duty is to be able to give an advice that does not suck. Because we are Monday Suck, before we let you go, you need to actually tell the people, nay, the country, nay, the community, one advice that does not suck. It could be something you heard from your grandmother, from your life coach, from your guru, from Jesus himself, but one advice that does not suck. Hit us one time.
We're gonna meld the real, everyday life world and the whiskey world all in one. Always trust your gut. Drink it any damn way you please. Never let anyone tell you how to drink your whiskey.
I'm gonna need to hear that one more time.
So trust your gut.
Time for the one time.
Always trust your gut, especially when it comes to sipping whiskey, because you're gonna drink it any damn way you please. Never let anyone tell you how to drink your whiskey. If you, as Booker himself said, if you want to put Booker's with Coke, it's going to be the best damn bourbon and Coke you ever had. Whiskey was made. Yeah, it was made to be drunk. It was made to be drunk the way that you want to drink it. So
you guys heard it from the woman herself. Trust your gut. your diaphragm. Trust your gut. Drink your whiskey any way you please.
Trust
And
your
drink
gut.
your whiskey any way you
Drink the way you want.
So
Drink the way you want.
I do what I want.
before you leave, I got a surprise question for you.
Oh,
Because I made a purchase 3 years ago. And I don't know why. It was on a drunken night.
Was it
I made a purchase
Amazon
3
or
years
like
ago.
in
Drunken
person?
night. I'm like, so I've been keeping this as a little secret. And I want to know
I don't even know what he's doing.
you got to say.
He's got me surprised.
So this is your surprise question before we leave. We let you go.
Okay.
So on a drunken night, I was on a website.
I know exactly what that is just by the back of what you just walked through.
Yep.
And I found Jim Beam signature craft.
Yep.
First one is
Oh,
the
here?
6-row barley,
Mhm.
11-year Kentucky.
Yep.
Second one is Triticale. Oh, I don't know, whatever it is.
Triticale.
Triticale. Okay. My immigrant Tourette's is kicking in.
No, it's fine. It's hard for people who like even if you don't know the grain business, like I have been corrected so many times.
What is the
and
grain?
I'm probably still saying it incorrectly. So
Brown
I thought it was
rice.
triticale and it's triticale. Brown rice is my
Brown
favorite
rice.
bottle ever.
And last but not least, soft red wheat.
Mm-hmm.
Can you clear to elaborate what in the hell are these bottles that I bought on a drunken night, asking myself, is this what Jesus intended whiskey to look like before Jim Beam?
So
This is my surprise question for you.
you trusted your gut and you bought them, and that was a great choice. Like I said, that brown rice, I just purchased 2 bottles when I was in DC because if I see it on a shelf, I buy it. It is literally my favorite liquid that I have ever tasted across any distillery of any of like the recent stuff that has gone out into the world. When I say recent, it wasn't too recent. It came out before its time. It's before everybody got super nerdy and excited about the minute changes of what we're doing. So each one of those, we were playing with those grains. So it's going to be an expression and a very old expression of each one of those grains and how it plays in the mash bill. So you're able to get.
So how did they come about? What are these about? Like I
Was
never
that
seen them on the
2014?
I never seen
It was
them
2014
anywhere.
that they were released.
Yeah, okay.
So thinking about it, that means 11 years, right? So it was laid
Yeah,
down.
they're all 11 years straight bourbon whiskey.
Laid down in 2003-ish. Probably.
Yeah,
which means it was
2003. I can see on the laser.
Laid down before
And-
Booker passed.
And every one of them were released in December of 14 as this bottle was released.
Yep. So they hit
So
shelves before people nerded
Booker
out.
Juice.
I mean, Booker he had already passed the keys to Fred, but he was still with us, so that was still a conversation that was being had about what they were going to do. This is something new and different. It was being laid down at that period in time. And as we started to see this bourbon resurgence happen, starting, some say 2010, I really think it was about 2013 that you really start to see people nerding out. So it was released a year or two after, people started to really get into it. But before people started to really, really get into it, has Jim Beam on the label. Again, we talked about this earlier. A lot of times people take one experience that they had with one of the SKUs and they run with it and they overlooked it. So it's still on shelves. Like literally, I just bought some 3 days ago. Like it's
$375, and he
Yeah,
says
$375.
behind, which is actually very interesting. This is the only bottle that I've seen that says behind Fred No, grandson of Jim Beam.
Mm-hmm.
He made it just so cute and so interesting and so different. I'm like, okay, the only person that can answer this signature craft releases of Jim Beam is you. So for all of you guys who don't know this is the brand. This is what he looks like. and I just bought it on a drunken night, and I'm like, I wonder
Solid
what kind of
purchase.
Beam is this.
Those used to be on the shelf at the still house even. They were they like you said, I mean they're still sitting places and they sat everywhere.
People didn't understand. But I'm crack that brown rice. I've shared it with so many people. I have drank a number of bars out of their bottle of it, just sharing it with folks because I think that it's something that
I
needs to be
only have one
experienced.
of each, so that's why I've been looking at it. I'm like, depending on your answer, then I can start hunting
Well, here,
to
how
see
about
if I can
this?
find.
You know, I always have trunk whiskey. The next time you're in town, I will make sure that my trunk whiskey is that signature craft series 11-year brown rice so that we can taste it.
I'm gonna be looking for your car, Beth.
We'll be
I'm gonna
looking
be
for your
stocking
car.
the
It's in the
stocking the
shop right
shit out
now,
of
but like
Absolutely.
you.
Any last
About to
word
call that
before we let
mechanic.
before we let you go, Beth? Any last words?
I just want to say thank you all for having me. Sorry, the people who are pissed off at me. It's not my fault.
It's the internet. Everybody's pissed off.
It's very true. But no, I really enjoy speaking with you all and talking about what we all love, that world of whiskey.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for coming. As usual, I want to thank you particularly because you, Beth, not Beam, but you, Beth, are a people lover. You're
Mm.
always open to help people in every way, shape, or form. You, I was new in the industry or walking into the whiskey industry when you actually said, "Oh yeah, I can help out." And I tell people all the time is, um, people may not like you or may not like what you stand for, what you look like, but anybody that actually give you an opportunity is somebody that is your God that you need to pray for or pray to. So, Beth, you are the representation of what a brand ambassador should be doing for the brand. You made me fall in love twice again with the Jim Beam brand. I can't thank you enough for coming on Monday Sucks and sharing with us. I can't wait to get into Louisville and actually spend some time with you. This is the time where I let you go to actually go graduate, and I truly want to say congratulations on handling a teenager all the way till he's what 16 now.
He is,
16.
Yeah,
yes.
16 now, and you are a dope mother, and you're doing an amazing job because you really embarrass him all the time, and I'm actually proud of you for that. And I cannot wait to actually see more. For all of you guys are here, we had about 50 people going in and out of the of this live. Make sure you follow Beth. She's the Bourbon Bella, and make sure you follow her and make sure that you actually pay attention to what she posts. She keeps secrets really good, but she sometimes will give you a little snapshot of what is there. Beth is one of those rare ambassadors that she actually loves culture. She loves people, and she truly is always adventurous. Give a really great um, name to Jim Beam when in this world where we're standing, we need more people that actually embrace people and embrace culture and embrace people from all walks of life and really bring them into the whiskey world. So Beth, I can't thank you enough for what you're doing in the whiskey industry. I can't wait to hang out more. And thank you for coming on Monday Sucks.
Thank you. Drunk whiskey for all. Cheers. That was way
Cheers,
too
Beth.
kind. You were way too
Cheers.
nice to me. I really
Cheers,
appreciate
cheers,
it though.
cheers to all of you guys. For all of you guys watching, this is the time where we're shutting down Facebook and YouTube, and we're gonna have our little 30 minute of aftertaste on IG. So if you don't follow us on Instagram, make sure you come on Instagram and hang out with us. For all the people on Instagram, just stick around. We have a few things that we're going to talk about and remind you again. For all of you guys watching on YouTube and Facebook, remember follow the Patreon Hood Summer Day on Patreon. Make sure you follow us. Make sure you follow TVR, aka the man, the myth, the legend, the Jason Mraz of this Monday here. And make sure you also follow the Bourbon Bell here on Facebook or on Instagram. Thank you so much, Beth. Appreciate you being here, and we will see you next Monday.
Sounds great. Cheers.